Good morning, everybody. It's Thursday, and we will be having our Zoom meeting in about an hour. But I wanted to read you a story first called The Rabbit Story. We have been reading a lot of books about rabbits, haven't we? And I posted one yesterday on the Facebook page that you could read along with. That's kind of fun to do because you can see the words highlighted as you're reading the story, so you get to learn some new words as well. This is a book written by Alvin Tresselt, and the pictures are drawn by Carolyn Ewing. Here's a title page. And here's another title page. And here's the story. Deep in a fur-lined burrow, lined with soft, warm fur from their mother, the little rabbits were born. So carefully had the mother hidden her nest on the edge of the meadow that no one could find it. Safe inside their snug nest, she fed her babies as the silent owl flew past on velvety wings, looking for his supper. Oh, that owl would love to have baby rabbits for supper. But Mama Rabbit has them safely hidden, doesn't she? So fast the babies grew. At first, they had no fur, and their eyes, like the eyes of kittens, were tight shut. When Mother Rabbit went off to nibble sweet clover, the little ones huddled together in the fur-lined warmth and slept. But soon their eyes opened. Soon they grew their own warm coats of rabbit fur. And soon, as their legs grew stronger, they were hopping about in their home. Now the babies learned what a rabbit must know. Beware the swift-running fox, the hungry weasel, the velvet-winged owl. Be careful, watch out, run fast, or stand still. Hide and listen with your long, long ears, and watch for the farmer and his dog. Those are all predators, aren't they? And the rabbit is their prey. But the little rabbits were carefree in their fresh green world. They tumbled in the grass, then sat still as statues. They thumped their strong rabbit legs and hopped over tree trunks. Then they scampered under bushes quick as a wink. And that's how the baby rabbits learned to take care of themselves. They were learning to be safe from the predators, weren't they? At last, the snug little burrow grew too small. One by one, the babies hopped away to live a rabbit life. Little Rabbit hopped this way and that, past the field mice in their secret runways in the meadow grass, past the noisy squirrels frisking up and down the trees. She followed her sniffing, wiggly nose and nibbled on the spring grass and clover. Can you wiggle your nose like a rabbit? Then, early one morning, Little Rabbit discovered the best food of all. Long rows of tender lettuce and young beans, tasty cabbage plants and new carrots. But once, as she slipped under the fence of the garden, her foot caught in a piece of string. Bang! Down over the little rabbit came a box. Little Rabbit knew about foxes and weasels, owls and dogs, but she didn't know about tracks. Look at those eyes on the rabbit. What do they tell you? She looks scared, doesn't she? Little Rabbit sat very still as the day grew brighter. Suddenly, she felt the tiny earth shake that told her someone was coming near. It was the farmer, and he grinned as he lifted the rabbit out of the trap. "So, you're the one who's been growing fat on my vegetables," he said. "But you're only a baby." He has a kind face, doesn't he? Do you think he's going to hurt that rabbit? I don't think so. He carried the little rabbit to his barn and put her in a cage. Soon he came back with a boy. "There she is," said the farmer to his son. "If you want her for a pet, see that you take good care of her. Just don't let her loose to finish off my garden." The boy brought fresh grass and water for his pet. But little Rabbit just crouched in a corner and wiggled her nose. She was probably a little scared, huh? As the days passed, little Rabbit grew used to the boy, and soon he could let her out of her cage. Then, as she followed behind him, the curious hens clucked and gossiped together about this strange wild animal in their barnyard. Slowly, the long summer slipped into crisp September weather. Now, in the frosty mornings, the crows cawed from the swampland and the southbound geese honked overhead. Little Rabbit sniffed the misty autumn air, and she felt a yearning for the wild, free life she had known. A yearning is a longing, a wishing and hoping for something. She was yearning to be out there in the meadow, running free. One evening, after the boy had fed his rabbit, she discovered the door of the cage was not shut tight. With a push and a wiggle, little Rabbit found herself outside. She followed her nose across the sleeping barnyard, past the frost-bitten vegetable garden, over the stubbly meadow, into the thickets beside the woods. And there, little Rabbit joined the free life of the wild rabbits. Through the long, cold winter, she hopped about in the snow as best she could, finding bits to eat. The soft, tender bark of young trees, weed seeds, withered berries, and frozen corn in the farmer's fields. She had to work hard for her food now, didn't she? Before, the boy was feeding her every day. It's a hard life to live in the wild. But at last, the soft, warm winds returned from the south. The days grew longer, and once more the meadow turned green with new grass and clover to eat. Once more the father rabbits thumped the ground with their long, strong legs, calling their mates. Then one day, little Rabbit dug a burrow beside the meadow, carefully hidden so no one could find it. She cushioned it with grass and lined it with soft, warm fur from her body. And as the wood thrush sang his evening song, the mother rabbit fed her new babies in their snug nest at the edge of the meadow. And that looks like one happy mama rabbit. Now she has babies of her own to care for. And that's the end of the story. So we know that rabbits are a kind of animal called mammals, right? There are all different kinds of animals, mammals, birds, fish, reptiles, amphibians. But a mammal is an animal with hair or fur, and it gives birth to live babies. Doesn't have to lay an egg. It has a baby when it's born, and that baby needs its mother to drink milk until it's big enough to eat food and to be on its own. So a rabbit is a mammal, just like people are mammals, and dogs and horses. You could probably think of a lot of animals that are mammals. Why don't you do that? See if you can find some maybe pictures in magazines, and you can make a poster of mammals, just mammals, no birds or fish or reptiles or amphibians, and see how many you can find. And if you can't find that many in magazines, then maybe you can draw some and you can show them to me next time we meet. Okay, I'll see you in about an hour on our Zoom meeting. Have a good morning.